Let's begin what's trending, with reactions trailing the submission by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu requesting the Election Tribunal to dismiss the petition seeking to nullify his election on the grounds that he did not secure 25% of lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory. The president, in his final written address against the two petitions filed by the candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his counterpart of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, warned that nullifying the February 25th elections on the grounds that he did not secure 25% of the lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory could lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy, and alteration of the very intention of the legislature. Tinubu also stated that the two petitions seeking the nullification of his victory are not familiar with the country's electoral laws. Rufai, I'm coming to you, but let me take Carlos' tweet, because this is actually the bone of contention, because as you recall, our sister publication This Day put out a tweet, with that statement, and it's garnered more than 2.5 million comments. Well, Carlo wrote, "The president of the largest economy in Africa is telling foreign investors that if the courts, in a legal ruling in his own nation, remove him from office because he failed to meet the conditions set by his nation to become president, there will be anarchy and chaos. In essence, if he is allowed to break the law and remain in office in contravention of the legal rules of his nation against the oath of office he took, there will be no chaos and anarchy." Over to you, Rufai. I'll take. People became lawyers on Twitter yesterday, giving their own different interpretation. Dr. Bati, I heard your interpretation this morning. Rufai.
For me, it is the court, the Presidential Election Tribunal, that will rule on the interpretation of the 25%.
Yes.
Whatever they come out with, for or against, I don't think interpretation of the laws of the country will cause any anarchy.
Absolutely not.
Fanning the embers and everything. I know that statement was from the depositions of his lawyer, President Tinubu's lawyer, Wole Olanipekun, because they are having their final depositions in before they make a judgment on it. It is for him to make his case. You can say he was making his case while he was arguing, but it is the court that will rule, and whatever the court rule, there's not going to be anarchy. I've heard a lot of people argue and said, "Oh yes, the court of public opinion and all of that, it reads the body and temperature of the nation." The law is the law. If it rules for or against, the law will reign supreme. It's not happened before, blah, 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 blah. Those are just conversations. Because it is still the courts that will rule. All we can call on the judiciary to do is to stand tall. Across board. Yes, opinions are divided for and against and all of that. But we need to be able to build a country where the rule of law will stand tall. Because we don't do it for ourselves. We also do it for the way other countries see us. And when they see we have a weak judiciary system, what happens is that investors will not want to come. So the judiciary should also know that they are not only ruling based on the law now, they are also ruling based on what will become the outlook of Nigeria. So they will be the one to determine this 25%. We've never had a time where we've tested it. People can only make other inferences, like, they've started a part of the constitution that says, treat it as long as though it's this, it's that, and all of that. You can have all the legal jargons. But it is when the court rules, conjunctively or disjunctively, you can look at the narrative. All we should now do is not to heat up the polity. Let us wait for the court to rule. And let's also forget, after the court rules, there's also a Supreme Court there.
Yes, absolutely.
After this judgment, let us remember the fact that Nigeria will continue to exist. And Nigeria will continue to grow. But the question is, how do we see ourselves after things like this? That's what matters the most.
Yes.
And in building a country, it is a collective work.
All right, Dr. Bata, I'd like your interpretation again in terms of what Tinubu's counsel wrote in that final submission. I understand that, anarchy can be interpreted in different ways, but I'll just take one more tweet of people that were trying to clarify Tinubu's win. This is from Pastor Okezie, who wrote, "Tinubu got 25% in 29 out of the 36 states and FCT. Atiku got 25% in 21 out of the 36 states and FCT. Peter Obi got 25% in 17 out of the 36 states and FCT. Nigeria has 37 subnational entities. 36 states and FCT. Only President Bola Ahmed Tinubu met this constitutional requirement, 24 out of 36 states and FCT, and having the highest number of votes cast. He was declared winner and returned elected by the constitutional body, aka INEC. What is difficult to understand here? Dr. Abati.
Okay, a number of clarifications. I think people must refrain from reading headlines and from headlines jumping into conclusions. It misleads a lot of people because you see a headline in the newspaper.
Hello and welcome to the channel. The Labour Party has on its part reacted to claims credited to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he said the country will descend into anarchy and chaos if the judges ruled in favor of 25% FCT requirements. According to the Labour Party, such scaremongering has no basis in law and should be ignored. This was contained in a statement signed by the acting National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifor, in Abuja on Monday. He said, the Labour Party has taken note of the news making the round, purportedly from the leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he allegedly won the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, that interpreting the law as provided for in the Constitution on the 25% lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja could lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy and alteration of the very intention of the legislature. We are worried that the statement which formed part of his submissions and was contained in his final written address against the Labour Party's petition pending at the PEPC and meant to be in the exclusive custody of the court was leaked to the media. We still do not know the reason behind this act of desperation, even when the matter is still pending in court. We will, however, be careful not to term the action as sub judice. Having said that, the Labour Party thinks that the statement was unnecessary since the matter is already before the court, and going ahead to pontificate on it could be construed as interference in the duties and responsibilities of the judiciary. The truth of the matter is that there are no sentiments when it comes to matters of law. The law is the law, and once the law has stipulated the manner and how a matter must be carried out, it must follow that pattern. If the law has stated the requirement that a presidential candidate must meet before he can be declared, there is no shortcut to it. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.